that, getting hit multiple times. Coming out of that bike section, more drivers coming to blows.
Greetings, race fans, and welcome back to the inaugural season of Sim Racers Group Formula 3 Racing on SMB. JR Gregory back with you on the call with a huge shout out to my partner Charles Bushell for covering me last week, along with our producer Mike Braun and the rest of the Slow Motion Broadcasting fam. And as 2025 Season 3 winds down, I am stoked to be back behind the mic as the SRG F-3 series crosses the Pacific to visit Suzuka. This track was designed back in 1962 as a Honda test track, includes a rare figure 8, and Suzuka has of course been home to some epic battles in Formula One. And who can forget that controversial fight between Senna and Prost back in 1989? That one will live on forever. And tonight's configuration: 5.8 clicks, 3.6 miles, 18 corners. Current track record set by Sir Lewis Hamilton back in 2019 with a 130.983. And I'll tell you what, Charles, these cars are going to be showing both their strengths and weaknesses out here. You're hitting 130R absolutely flat, and these bad boys and these high-speed sweepers really use the ground effects and the mechanical grip of these F3 cars. The minuses, of course, getting slowed down and accelerating back out of the Kobayashi hairpin and the Casio triangle too. Problematic to get these puppies warmed up, slowed up. But Charles, this is the last of 9 past or present F1 circuits on this season's schedules, which has been an absolute banger. So what are your keys to tonight's race at Suzuka?
Yeah, JR, welcome back. Tonight's keys, very technical track, lots of dangerous curbs. For whatever reason, you can't really take a lot of the curbs here, and I'm looking at you, Degner, too. That exit curb is absolutely deadly if you get it wrong. Nowhere to make your moves. Obviously, very, very fast track in some sections as you're working your way on the back half, coming out of Spoon, going down into 130R. You're going to get a huge draft from the car in front, but it's not always the easiest task to make a pass going down into the Casio triangle. So you got to know where and when to make that move to make a pass. And then finally, the debris field might play a role in tonight's race. I think it's the first time I've seen a race here since they've done the debris update. So it's going to bring a lot of that gravel out on the track. It's going to make some of these corners that much worse. Those are my keys for tonight.
Yeah, we should be in for a great race here tonight, and this really is a fantastic track to test these cars and these drivers. And a couple things, additional things that stand out to me. I love that turn 1 and 2 complex in these cars. It really kind of lets you feel the aero. You're deep into 6th gear. We're watching right now. Looks like Corwin going through that section right now. And you're deep into 6th gear, easing onto the brakes. And as you slow down, the aero slowly bleeds off as you're trail braking through that long, difficult combination. And it's super fun when you get it right. Super not fun when you blow it. And we're going to see some contested entries right there, Charles. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of moves can be made. Of course, it's easy as a defender to cover the inside there, but leaving the outside open can lead to a vulnerability. An outside move is doable there. So we'll have to see how these drivers weigh their options coming off of that pit straight into turn 1.
Yeah, it really is. That is exactly right. You can make an outside move there through 1 and 2. Provided you get your line right, you can carry the speed really well on the outside and try to make that move. And once again, though, it's another one of those opportunities where you might not want to try it at some sections of the race because it is going to slow you down as you're working side by side. If you've got cars behind, you're going to invite them to jump in the middle of your fray and make things that much more difficult. As you see Mikovits there just really struggling through the S's trying to keep the rear end. And I think we're going to see a lot of high rear end Deg tonight as well as we see that spin there. He just kept heating those rear tires up to the point that they said, nope, we're done. So you can reset and try that again. But I think you're going to see that that's going to be a problematic thing tonight. Is I think the Deg is going to be a little bit higher, and it may be all 4 corners. It's just going to be one of those. This track is very, very technical, very difficult, and these drivers have got their work cut out for them tonight.
Yeah, and Mikovits showing some fast hands there in some quick opposite lock going through the S's there, but ran out of rear tire there, and every one a little slide is a withdrawal from the bank of grip, and he kept withdrawing until that last check bounce, and he went around. And I have heard it said, Charles, I haven't been able to find this in writing, so I can't guarantee it, but I have heard it said that Honda primarily put this track together as a tire test circuit, and that certainly is consistent with some of the long sweeping corners here. We'll grind the fronts and then heavy braking and accelerating out of some lower speed corners. So tire deg is absolutely going to be a huge thing here. And speaking of tire deg, right now we're looking at 122 track temp. So it is mega greasy out there in the best of circumstances. Pretty high humidity there at 70. But as practice winds down, it looks like Stefan Chase is thrown down the gauntlet up front. He's got about a 4/10 lead on Vic Roy from Eggert from Conway, and then Jason Green will round out the top 5. So our usual suspects populating the top 5 in practice. And as practice winding down here, about 30 seconds left, we will begin our open qualifying session. If you haven't joined us, it is a 15-minute open quali. So we talk about this week in and week out, but open qualifying adds another layer of strategy. It is a tip of the hat to real life racing, and it it can giveth and it can taketh away. Traffic can mess up your lap, and a lucky draft on a couple of these long straights can give you half a second to a second in qualifying. So it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned something, and I'm just going to kind of bring this up. I was doing a broadcast a couple of weeks ago with my buddy Ron Mullins over on the Weekend Warriors side of things, and we were at Oran Park, and we came up with the only two tracks we could come up with that were in iRacing that has the figure 8 configuration where it loops over itself is Oran Park and here. So I don't know if that means anything or not. Just kind of a weird little factoid for tonight.
Yeah, it is interesting, and when we get a ride along going here, I'll show you after Degner that bridge that carries kind of the back straight entry towards 130R. And when you're on track, Charles, it took me forever when I was learning the track. Learning this place keeps you pretty busy, by the way. But it took me forever to actually put my eyes on that bridge, one, and then on top of the bridge, you can't really tell you're on it. You just kind of have to know where you're at on the track. So super interesting, and I imagine it really adds to being a spectator here. I have not had the privilege of traveling to Suzuka for a race, but I bet it's fantastic. And riding along with Eggert now, there's Degner 1, there's Degner 2. You look up right there, whoop, and there is that back straight leading from Spoon into 130R. So yeah, super cool design, and these folks were thinking outside the box, Charles. They drew this up in the 60s, and we're still having F1 races there today, and that kind of puts Suzuka in rare air among Formula One courses of this vintage, because many of them have fallen into disuse.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's it's I guess just being in Japan and being an island, a very small island at that, you use the space as efficiently as you can, so yeah, it kind of makes sense to just have a course that loops over itself, and it's just fun. It's a fun racetrack, and this is one of my favorite combinations. Is the F3 car here? It is just a great. For hot lapping, it is fantastic. And racing is really good here too. Obviously, anytime you're in an iRacing official session, you're going to have those moments where half the field is just gone in a heartbeat. But for just going out and having some fun, this is a fantastic combination.
Yeah, it really is. And before we get too deep into qualifying here, let's go ahead and take a look at the season points. We are 9 weeks in, and these point totals are going to be reflecting one drop week. I think they count 8 out of the 12. So up top there with a stranglehold still on P1, there is Stefan Chase with 332, followed by Vikeroy and Mikovits. Chase, Vikeroy, Mikovits, and Green have dominated the podiums. Chase with 8, Vikeroy with 7, Green with 4, and Mikovits with 3. So these guys getting it done up front. Chris Eggert is there within striking distance. He could move up still with a couple races remaining. We'll round out the top 5. Then you see Paborgi, Velasco, Conway, Corwin, and Labivi rounding out the top 10, and we'll scroll down and let you see the rest of that. But there are our season individual points, and the F3 series has added a team competition. And Mike, do we have those as well tonight? Maybe. There they are. Okay, I pulled that on Mike unexpected, but up front, perhaps predictably, that is Chase and Kay. That is Stefan Chase and Dylan, and then Hubi SRG6 is Mikovic and Duvall. Vibes-based racing team is Paborgi and Conway. Avovoom is Vikeroy and Neil Dev, and Green Posada. I should make you guess, but that is Diego Posada and Jason Green there in P5, and there are the rest of your competitors. The top 5 have kind of been shuffling a little bit. You see some very close intervals, only 10 between Vibes Based and Avavoom, and those two teams have switched spots a couple times. So the team competition's still hot and heavy, with the exception of, as I said, Stefan Chase really has a stranglehold on P1 in individual and on team as we enter here into week 10.
Yeah, absolutely. As I was just going to say, Case is up there on pole for his first lap, 154.4. We did see some practice times down in the 153s. So kind of expect those times to drop a little bit closer to that fast practice lap as we're watching the time starting to roll in. And a little early yet as we're on board here with Varun Bali going through 1 and 2. You see the draft. That's going to help him and the car behind, which is Lopez. There should get a little bit of a speed in gain from that draft as we see Bali just kind of pull out of the way. I'm sorry, the car in front, which was Kocher, I think, just kind of pull out of the way and let Bali go. And so he's going to make his run. Maybe that was a little strategy involved. Maybe that was kind of designed to let Kocher, letting them get the draft down the straightaway to start their lap. So we'll see how these times, as they're starting to roll in now, we've got the top 6 within that 1 second time frame. My guess is we'll see several more that'll jump in there as well.
Yeah, I do want to keep an eye on Bali and who was that Lopez. That they may be draft buddies out here, and that's something that I've kind of been waiting to see in this F3 competition. You hook up with somebody that has close pace to you during qualifying, and you can both benefit from it. Take turns being the lead car going into turn 1 and towing each other down that front straight. Haven't really seen it yet, kind of been waiting for it, and these two may have stumbled on a key to improving their qualifying time here at Suzuka, so we'll keep an eye on that for you. And yeah, as Charles said, we're expecting a little bit quicker. I think we saw some 152s in practice. So with 9 minutes remaining, fuel is going to burn off. We may see a few competitors duck in for tires. And yeah, there you see Stefan Chase has improved his lot in life. He's broken the 154 barrier. That will put him about 9/10 in front of Eggert in P2, and Jason Green kind of lingering around there, about a second back of Chase. So a little bigger spread than we sometimes see here. Suzuka, Charles, is one of those courses that doesn't look that hard on paper, but it takes a lot of practice to shave off those tenths to move up in a group of competitors like this.
It really does, and that lap, Bali actually gained a half second on his previous lap time. So, mission accomplished there, getting that draft down the front straight, and you see Green working his way around the 22 car of Athul Ganesh. As he's out there on another hot lap. So yeah, it is, I want to say once again, very technical circuit, and it takes a bit of bravery and a bit of skill to get a really good lap time around here. I don't know that I can get a really good lap time around here, so maybe that's part of my problem. But you've got to have the faith in the car when you're going into turn 1. Especially when you're going through 130R, that you just go flat and you get your line right. And I think that for me, spoon curve has always been my nemesis here. It's just so difficult to kind of break and go through that double apex left-hander to get around to that back straight. It's a very, very difficult challenge. But once you get a good lap here, it feels really, really good. To set a good lap time and know that you've kind of got the track under control, or at least know it well enough that you know where to go and where not to go.
Yeah, that spoon definitely takes a lot of practice to get that one right. It is diabolical in design. The little rise going into it, the second part of it is off camber, and it may be the most important corner on the circuit to get that good run down the back straight into 130R. And another thing that personally I've struggled with on this track is getting a good exit out of the Casio triangle. Can make a huge difference how early you can put the power down and get moving there. And folks, Charles kind of understating his abilities in these open wheelers. He can definitely wheel these things and would be well into the top 10 in this group. So don't let his false modesty here fool you, because he definitely knows how to wheel these bad boys. And riding along right now, who are we with? Here's Ope Oladipo. We have not seen him out here in a little while. Let's see what he was able to do if he got a timed lap here. There are a few traps for offs around here, and did he get a time there? I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I don't see it either. No, he doesn't. No, he's just out on his out lap. So this is his first flyer, I think, based on what I'm seeing on the timing and scoring. And I don't know if you caught this last night during your F4 broadcast, Jr., but they've done an update to the SDK graphics a bit. So they've got the flags out there now. So now if you see a black flag or you see a yellow flag, that means that there's a slowdown involved in that car's lap time, which in qualifying means that that lap is no longer valid. But when we get to the race, you may see that pop up, and that's just thought I'd bring that to the viewers' attention. Is we've got a few new toys that have been added to the software that we may see during the course of the race tonight.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, that is great information, and thank you for bringing that in. And some pit activity, folks. It looks like Stefane Casse has come off of his pole lap and is spending time in the pits. We'll see whether or not he has come in for tires. Vicroy in the pits as well. Grinsky, Posada, and it looks like Lloyd Conway may have switched rubber and is on his out lap. And we kind of go back and forth about whether or not it's worth it. A little bit longer of a lap here, 2-minute lap at Suzuka, so going in for tires kind of blows a lap on the in lap, blows your out lap, and another lap to get the tires up to temp. But it really may be worth it here, and we'll see if these guys can make anything out of it. Several drivers looks like are going in for fresh rubber and going to take another run, fresh tires, and a lightened fuel load, and see if they can improve their qualifying time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good shout. It's a little late. I think you probably want 2 good laps here at the end once you get that new set of tires, and maybe pushing their luck to try and get that second lap in. But we'll see how it all shakes out as we're looking at Tyrone De Silva up in P5. Good run for Tyrone tonight. We see an off track there. Degner 2. That won't be the last time we see a car off the track in Degner 2, probably. It's such a tough corner to get right, to get the car stopped and then turn through and get a good exit out of there without you spinning the car and heading into that right side wall just under the bridge. We may see that a time or two tonight, just kind of the nature of the beast. But De Silva having a good qualifying run up in P5, just ahead of Chris Eggert, who's who kind of expect to see. He's been up near the front most of the season, so good run for De Silva.
And Degner really is one of the most thrilling parts of this racetrack. If I ever attended a race here at Suzuka, I would definitely spend some time there. That entry is one of those places on the track where there are a million lines through there to curb or not to curb. You can go through Degner 1 particularly a lot faster than you think. And then how much of that exit runoff do you dare to use? It's inbounds, but it doesn't have the same grip as the track. So you're rolling the dice right there. And then Degner 2, how much curb do you use there, if any? That Degner 2 has a pretty significant camber. If you get on the curb at all, you throw away the benefit of that camber, so even though you're opening up the corner a little bit. And here's something I would love to see, Charles. It is doable. Dangerous but doable. My favorite kind of pass is to take a little dive on the inside of Degner 1 if you catch somebody napping, and I would love to see somebody give that a try out here tonight. But qualifying winding down here, about 2 minutes left. Some of these drivers are going to be probably on their last lap. Some of them may have one more coming to them, but right now it is Case from Mikovits, from Vicroy, from Snyder, from De Silva. Those are the frequent flyers here in Formula 3, as are Eggert and Green. We've got Corwin, Bali, and Velasco rounding out your top 10. We were talking about Oladipo. He has put down a lap and currently sitting in P11, about 1.2 off of Casse there in P1.
Yeah, good lap by Oladipo on his return, as you see another car going wide there. Just a 10th off Velasco for that 10th position with about a minute left. So the cars that are out there now that are on this lap, as we see there with Snyder, just a little too much speed coming out of the S's, and then loops it coming around the Dunlop curve, and he's going to have to reset. That's going to be quality done for him, unfortunately. So he'll have to just live with the time he's got, as we see Green making his way around. So this lap will count for him. I don't think he's going to be able to get back to the start-finish line. So this will be his last flyer before we get ready to start the race.
And I know Green would like to move up. He is always kind of dabbling within striking distance of the podium, sitting right now in P7. And he was probably wanting and expecting something a little bit better here. So we'll see if Green can improve his lot in life. All he needs is a couple hundredths, really, to move up past Eggert. And if he gets about 1200s, he can get past De Silva. So he is in position, if he can get a heater here, to move up significantly with just a couple tenths. So no pressure, Jason. And we're not watching you. You're not the only car on track right now with the camera on you. But we know that Green wants something a little more out of this qualifying session. He's running out of time. So if he's going to make it happen, it needs to be right here.
Yep, and he's running solo, so he's not going to get the benefit of a draft from anybody. So this is going to be his pure pace. So we'll see where he comes across as he comes through the 130R into the triangle. Make this good line coming in, pretty good line coming out. Yeah, that's a good run through there. As he's going to come around to the start-finish line and pick up this time. And is he going to be an improvement? 54.9? Nope, not quite. 2 tenths off of his fast lap, so no improvement, and that's him done for qualifying as he's crossed under the checkered. As we got Navas coming around as well. Let's see if Jose can make up any positions from that P17.
Yeah, I was watching Eggert. He took a little bite up. That'll move him up into P4. He got a 154 for that time around. So Eggert able to make hay with his last lap. And as I said, that'll put him up into P4. I think he was sitting in 6 or maybe 7, or he's sitting in 6 before. So good for 2 positions for Eggert. So our grid solidifying here. You can see on our track map just a couple of cars remaining. And looking right now at Duvall in the 13 car. He's running a little lower in the grid than we normally see him. See if he can improve his time. Does manage to jump up a couple. Looks like he gained about 3 spots with a 155.6. And Oladipo as well. Probably, whoa! And Oladipo gets camera shy. That big slide is going to negate any gains he might have made on that lap. And look, he had a couple of green sectors going, had a hot one going there, and kind of blew it right in the end in the triangle, which is so dastardly. Been there, done that myself, Ope, and my goodness, it giveth, it ticketh away that time. It tooketh a big chunk of time, and that will land Oladipo solidly in P11. And who are we with now? Looks like Neil Day out there, maybe finishing his last lap, trying to break into the 150s here. See if he can get that done. And that is you. Did he make a jump there? Oh no, he didn't. Okay,
he did not. He did not. So,
and I'll correct myself. He did have a 158.7 previously, so it did break that 2-minute barrier. So looks like we are pretty solid here in terms of our grid. We'll have that starting grid up for you shortly and get this 25-minute sprint race underway. And I'll tell you what, Charles, as we prepare to take the green here at Suzuka, this may be a race where we see a tortoise and we see a hare. Tire deg is going to be a thing. I am not kidding. So as we watch the opening laps, we'll try to figure out who's flogging it a little bit too hard and who may be laying in wait to take advantage of their healthy tires at the end of this one. But there is your starting grid. It is Stefan Kasse in pole. We'll line up next to Kalen Mikovic in P2. Then it's Vic Roy next to Christopher Eggert. Justin Snyder will line up next to Tyrone De Silva. Then Jason Green next to Maroon Bali in row 4. In row 5, Josh Corwin will line up next to Velasco. Then Ope Oladipo in 12 next to Lloyd, or in 11 rather, next to Lloyd Conway. Then it's Lopez next to Kocher in row 7. Lebivi will line up next to Igor Grunsky in 15 and 16. Then Ganesh next to Jose Navas. Adam Duvall will line up next to Christopher Wang. Rafael Cardenas will line up next to Dylan in row 11. Brashear next to Posada. And if we scroll one more time, we'll see Trantham next to Day. And Danush Poborji did not set a time, I don't think. And he may have just shown up for... go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't even know that... I don't see him on the grid. And I don't know that I saw him out on the track at all during qualifying. So he may not still be in the session. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But We'll see if he pit starts or not, but obviously Poborgi has had some really good runs, so it'd be odd for him to not make it to the race tonight.
Yeah, Borgi may have just shown up to put some laps down with his buddies here and decided not to take the green, but that will hold up the start while we wait for a couple of cars. iRacing is going to force this one in about 15 seconds. So that is Stefan Kasse there in the 243 car, the red car to your right. So he will have the outside entry into turn one, but he can't spaced a little bit ahead there off the start, so he's going to need to move over and cover off Mikovits, and we are green, and let's see how Kasse gets off the line. So far so good. It's Kasse from Mikovits, from Vickeroy, from Egger. It looks like De Silva has snuck past Snyder, and Snyder having a problem. There's a little bit of kerfuffle here coming into turn one, and we see some cars going wide. Very often the case here at Suzuka on cold tires, folks. You got to let them warm up. It takes at least 2 laps to get them in full swing, but hard to tell that to people when the red mist is going. The adrenaline builds up while you wait for the lights, and the front runners, though, have gotten off pretty well. It is Kasse from Mikovits, from Vickeroy, from Eggert, from De Silva is your top 5. De Silva, the only mover there, moved up 1. Behind him, Bali has moved up 2 at the expense of Snyder and Green. Snyder dropping 2 positions and Green dropping 1 off the start.
Nope.
And some more action there. My timing
Bali
tower is lighting up right now as somebody goes wide. We might have had a big wreck there as Bali going off and making contact, and we'll show you a replay of that shortly. But some mayhem here the first half of lap 1.
Yeah, I saw making strange noises as they get the start. Jason Green takes it really wide, coming through 1, gets off in the grass, has to kind of give up a little bit of space in order to get that car reset. And then we just saw Bali, I think, just straight lined Degner 1 and put it in the wall. He's got the meatball. I think he is still rolling, so he is going to try and limp it back to the pits and get his car repaired.
Yeah, let's see if we can. Here is your replay now. See if we can figure out what happened here. And a little help from the 82. You saw just a little jog there, and that is going to send that cool. I'm not even sure who we were looking at there. That cool peppermint livery car there going off. Didn't see any contact there though, so something happened that involved shedding body parts. I've got Bali down 14, Velasco down 13, Labivi 9, and Oladipo down 14. So there was some kind of carnage there in about the 10 to 15 slot of this grid, and a couple people have paid heavily.
Yeah, that was Oladipo in the candy stripe car that had the assistance off the track, and you see just Bali just missing the braking zone there, going into Degner 2, and just basically drives it straight into the wall. Is going to rejoin safely and get back to the back of the field. As we see Green there just sideways. As we see another car there following around, that is could not see who that was. Is that the 777 car?
Velasco. That's
Velasco. So yeah. Velasco, obviously same line as Green, and you see the debris getting pulled back across the track, which will make the next couple of laps through as we see the 69 car go around, and that is Labivi with contact there going through 130R. As that's a dangerous place to be side by side because it's flat and it's very difficult, especially in the first couple of laps.
Wow. And I said I wanted to see somebody try to stick it in that entry of 130R, but not quite like that. That number 69 car victimized there. Labivi taking a pretty hard shot there, and you got to think the person who made that contact on the inside may have picked up some damage. But right now we're looking back from the car of Stefan Kasse. That's looking back toward Mikovits. He's got about 7/10 back to Mikovits, then 3/10 to Vickeroy, 4/10 to Eggert. So these 4 cars building a train up front. These cars do train up on these courses with long straight. So right now it is the job of Eggert, Vickeroy, and Mikovits not to let Kasse get away here. You want to hang with them as long as possible. Maybe take a breath, dial it down a couple notches, and just stay with them. preserve your tires for later. But oftentimes, we do see these cars train up. There's another train forming, and there's a little peak. And who is that down the inside? Is that De Silva trying to put a move on successfully into turn one? Didn't quite catch that car number, but some great action on that entry to turn one. Was that Green in the Green Mobile? Good looking move there, making it happen in turn one.
Yeah, good move by Green. Yeah, and you're right. These cars that are in second through fourth, Mikovits, Vicroy, and Eggert, their main focus is stay in line. Main task is stay in line. Do not lose that draft up to Case. They want to stay within that 1 second window to have a chance here. They want to keep pressure on Case. Case has had had the luxury of being able to get a big gap in these races and being able to just not have to push the car. Saves his tires, and so he can basically withstand any challenge late in the race because he hasn't had to push very hard. So these guys need to keep close and keep the pressure on him.
Yeah, and Mikovits with a little bobble there into the Kobayashi hairpin. You saw him dragging a front tire, and when Kase looks in his rearview mirror and sees that cloud of smoke behind him around Mikovits, that is going to put a smile on his face. Exactly what he needs to help him build that gap, and right now he's hoping that Mikovits becomes the cork in the bottle and helps him get out of draft distance of the cars behind. And there's Cardenas flirting with that curb. Degner 1, you want to cuddle up to it. You maybe want to put your hand in its lap, but you get too close, you get slapped. And Cardenas got it right there from Degner 1.
He absolutely did. He's exactly right. Caught that inside curb, and he did a good job of catching the car. Didn't try and force the issue. Let the car just bleed speed off in the grass and slow it down, and so he could get it back under control, and was able to rejoin out of Degner 2 and continue his race, as opposed to the opposite, which is basically just getting thrown into the wall. So good job by Cardenas to be able to recover it.
Yeah, this front group really driving away here. Look at that gap between Eggert and De Silva. 3 seconds now already on lap 4. So turning into a race of 4 here up front with De Silva kind of on an island. He's got Snyder about 1.2 behind him, and Snyder is leading another train of Green and Corwin. Then another grab, and it's and there's the problem. That's Vicroy. Vicroy falls out of that top group, and now it is a 3-car race up front. Case from Mikovits, and that problem suffered by Vicroy slowed down Eggert as well. And so now Case really only has Mikovits with him. We'll go back and take a look and see what happens with Vicroy. And so common right there coming out of the S's. You want to set up as far right as possible so that you can have pedal to the metal going around this left-hander headed toward Degner. And Vicroy going a little wide right there, and one blade of grass right there, folks, is enough to send these cars spinning. And you saw that bite Vicroy falling all the way down to P9, and he is steaming right now. And we've had him in the booth a few times. He is a cheerful guy, but I know he cannot be happy about that, sitting in P9 now after qualifying in P3. Ouch.
Yeah, we've talked to him a couple of times, and he's got a really great attitude. He always wants to improve. He wants to get that final step, get that win. But he just seems like he makes a little mistake here or there and ends up costing him. This time he made it early, so he's got a chance to recover some positions, but it's going to be hard to track down Case and not destroy his tires in the process. We're riding on board with Green, who's kind of stuck there in P6, hasn't really found a way around Snyder yet, so he's just kind of sitting there in wait and using the draft to his advantage. But it's obviously, as the laps tick off, he's going to want to try and make a move and get up there and track those front runners down, as the gaps have now opened up because of a little incident by Vicroy. So it's really only Case and Mikovits within a second, and Mikovits is going to really have to buckle down to try and make up that time.
And I'm sorry, I've been saying Kase. That's actually Stanley Cash up front there. Apologies to Stanley, but Cash looking good. Actually, he's almost got Mikovits shaken. If he can just add another 10th or 2 during the interior part of this lap, he'll be outside of draft range. And there it is. You see that interval turn white there next to Mikovits' name, and that is just what Stanley Cash is looking to do, is stretch that gap over a second, so he's no longer towing Mikovic, and he could end up driving away, as we've seen him do many times. And oof, looks like
That's
there's a yard sale going on right there, and Lebivi learning how these F3 cars do in 130R with no front downforce, and that is a result there. It's there's understeering, and then there's fatal understeer, which we saw right there, and Lebivi has parked it and maybe can find some comfort in that car number, but as his on-track activities are ended.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, but your son, Charles.
Lebivi tough break tonight. So he'll take the rest of the night off and think about things and come back for next week. So this is a difficult track, so it's no surprise that we were going to have a few cars not be able to make the full 25 minutes.
Yeah, and that is one of the fascinating things about this sport, Charles, and I've observed this in myself. You can go out and do hot laps and set those purple sectors, set your personal best, and feel good about that in practice. But when you get in the race, you have to learn to, turn it down to 9.8 or 9.9 instead of 10, because during the race you can't afford to take risks that are going to end your race, or going to cost you a big handful of positions, and that is a constant struggle. I know it is for me out here, wanting to push just that little bit harder, especially when there's somebody within striking distance in front, and it kind of impacts your judgment and can lead to some of those kind of errors, and it's really kind of illustrates the mental part of being a race car driver.
Yeah, it really does. As we're watching Jason Green there, just looking around the outside, going into one. Good job by Snyder to do the defensive line down through 1 and 2 on the inside. Green just not able to carry enough momentum on the outside to make that pass. And he's just kind of sitting there. He's about a half second, 6/10 back, and really hasn't found an answer to Justin Snyder just yet. But I know Jason, I've seen him race enough that he's very patient behind the wheel of the car, and he's constantly watching and trying to see if there's a mistake made, or trying to find a way to make that move. So I feel pretty confident that he'll get that done before the end of the race. But once again, the longer he stays back there, the harder it is to move up. As we get a replay here of Dylan straight lining that as well, gets it caught up just barely. Oladipo able to get around to the inside, but yeah, you could just see Degner one really catching some people out, just making little small mistakes here and there, but able to recover it, but losing time in the process.
Tell you, man, if you're ever looking for me at Suzuka, I will be in a lawn chair at Degner from the time the track opens until they kick me out. That is so fascinating and exciting to watch the different approaches that drivers take right there. And my goodness, look at those intervals, Charles. This one I was kind of expecting to be a little tighter, but look at all those white intervals. This one kind of turning into a track day right now. Looks like Stanley Cash has stretched Mikovic to about 1.2, then Eggert 1.4 behind him, De Silva almost 4 seconds behind him. And my goodness, let's just look at our P8 car. Vikaroy is 11 seconds off of pole, or off of P1. Ooh. Whoa, and there goes Green. And Green is going to shuffle up the order again. Or was that Green?
Novice.
Oh, that was Novice. Okay, sorry, yep. I was highlighted over on the left. Thought that was Green, but a big slide there. As I was saying, the cars are really kind of fanning out. P10 is 12 seconds behind. P20 is 30 seconds behind. So these are long laps, but usually these F3 competitors are a little closer. But in fairness, Suzuka, very challenging, and the track is roasty hot. We usually don't see it this hot, and here's Conway speaking of hot. He's going to take a little peek inside of 130R here, and looks like he backed out of that one.
Yeah,
actually.
I think he bailed out of that one. He just said, "No, I don't know if I want to do this or not." It was, and that's pretty smart. If you're not confident, just better just back out, live to fight another day. So that was probably pretty smart on Conway's part, and he'll stay behind Lopez and look for a different way around as Lopez takes that defensive line going out. Oh, he's just weaving to try and break the draft. Don't think that's going to work. But Conway content for the time being to sit behind, still running in P10.
Yeah, Lopez winning that game in chicken. They were fully side by side there, but Conway thought better of it, and that was interesting, and that was that had to have been costly in terms of tire wear for Conway to go that deep. And then to not get anything out of it. He may be kicking himself over that one later, but here I was just saying that people needed to learn to be a little more careful, and Conway was certainly approaching that with a little care. But here is a look at Ganesh following, coming up on Duval, one of the few tight intervals we have left on track right now, about a half second as they go under the bridge after Degner, head down toward that Kobayashi hairpin. Here's a little bit of action. Who are we looking at here? There is a little peak on the inside, and protect. Yeah, a little
Lang on the outside making the move around Dylan, who I think had a slowdown a little bit earlier, so that might have been the reason that he was able to catch up and make that pass, going down into the hairpin on the outside. As we're working our way down through Spoon Curve, and we're still on board with Wang. Was that Oladipo making the move? That might have been Oladipo making the move around. So either way, nice little 3-4 car train here as these cars. And I've noticed that I'm just kind of looking, and nobody's really. As we see the time starting to bleed, Corbin's got to slow down. Green lost a lot of time to him just before that, so I'm guessing that Green had to check up for something, and has actually made the move around to take over P5 as a battle through Casio Triangle there. Oladipo on the inside working his way around, and that's Velasco, I believe he's battling with, and then Wayne gets a good run, so 3 wide down the front straight.
Nice battling there through the Casio Triangle, and this one is going to continue as Oladipo will enter turn 1 next to Wang there, I guess, or is that Velasco with Wang behind, hoping to pick up the pieces. But pretty good action right when I was saying the field spread out. They got sucked back together, and we're getting some little battles developing. 16 minutes in, 10 remaining, and Charles, I think we are in the danger zone or approaching it. Sometime within about the next 5 minutes, we're going to start seeing evidence of tires going off here. And as I said, the track very, very hot, and Suzuka hard on tires on a cool day. And you see Molina there catching a little slide out of Casio Triangle. We saw that was the action that we saw on the timing tower. Couldn't figure out what was going on. Grunsky spinning apparently in sympathy right there in the angry bird car. Maybe a little angrier now that his beak is full of gravel, but things getting a little iffy here as these tires starting to fade.
Yeah, you're right. I think it is, as we're looking at a replay here of Vic Roy working his way around Snyder, who just lost that position to Green and Corwin. So Snyder's falling back, and the cars are taking advantage of it. So I saw another car go wide. Did not see who that was, but see Vic Roy has now moved up to P7, and he's got about a 1 second gap up to Corwin. So Vic Roy is trying to make some moves, but just before we had this issue with Snyder losing all that time. Vic Roy just wasn't really gaining on that group. It took a mistake in front to bring that group back to him. So, not sure. Maybe that spin he had earlier has done some damage to the tires, and it's just making it hard for that car to stay on pace.
Back with Conway still following Lopez, and that gap has not changed much since we saw Conway poke his nose on the inside of 130R. And Charles, I'm finding our timing SDK timing tower over here a little mesmerizing. It's opening and closing like an accordion. 1 minute it's all white, and then these cars kind of close up on each other. So kind of pretty interesting stuff happening out here. But meanwhile, up front, again, Stanley Cash leading it by 2 seconds now over Mikovits, followed by Eggert, De Silva, and Jason Green rounding out the top 5. And look at that spread. Those 5 cars 10 seconds apart, and it is a track day here at Suzuka. There are still some fights going on, but the front runners are just ticking off laps with really nothing to do but be consistent, keep it clean, and take care of those tires for the next 6.5 minutes or so.
Yeah, and Eggert had a good run a couple weeks ago where he was, I think it was when we were at Zandvoort, where he was the fastest car on the track for the last 7 or 8 minutes. because he did a good job of hanging on to his tires during the first part of the race. So I don't think Mikovits is out of the woods just yet with that P2. Eggert seems like he's really good at hanging on to the tires and being able to use them at the end of the race. So we'll see if that picks up. If Eggert's able to continue to close that gap. Looks like he's dropped a couple of tenths again as they come through across the line. 54.9 for Mikovits, 54.6 for Eggert. So you can see that gap starting to close a little bit. And Case is just kind of checking out with a 54.3.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And about 5 minutes remaining, probably 3 laps remaining in this one. And you're not going to believe this, folks. My producer has said in my ear, I've got that name wrong again. It's actually Stephen Case, who is leading right now, also your championship leader, and Case appearing to get another podium here. I told you earlier how many podiums he's had. It's a little gut. He's had 8 podiums in 9 appearances. So Case definitely the class of this field, and showing it again here. He's got that gap again, as I said, up to 2 seconds, and having a little bit of a track day, as frankly are the top 5. There's no one anywhere near them. Corwin within a stone's throw of green, but really nobody showing any signs of life here down the stretch. If somebody has anything to do, it is time. 5 minutes remaining. Smoke them if you got them. Looks like Duvall might be reeling in Ganesh a little bit for P12, but other than that, not a lot going on right now.
No, really not. It's just kind of what you expect, I guess, with a technical track like this. Little small errors that you're not really spinning the car or half spinning the car. Maybe you're locking the brakes up going into a corner, or you're getting a little loose in the rear. Coming out of a corner, but able to catch it and just losing 10th here and 10th there. And the time's just kind of wavering. I think the biggest thing I noticed early in the race, and I have to keep this in mind for the next time we come here, was didn't really see a lot of the draft. Didn't really look like it was that strong here. It just like that, just not really anything going as we're seeing Duvall taking a look to the inside and saying, no, not yet, but he's back on to the back of Ganesh, and with a couple of laps left, he is going to try and make that move before it's all said and done.
And Duvall showing the depths to which these tires have sunk. Just that little peak that he put on going into 130R, he got insanely loose, just changing lanes basically there. So these tires screaming for mercy right now. He's going to take a little peak on the outside, but you need grip to make that move happen. It is doable, but at this point of the race with these kind of track temps, probably unlikely. And there are a couple, that's probably the closest battle right now for P12 between Duvall and Ganesh, and that is stretching out again. So the timing tower doing its accordion impersonation again, and probably about 2 laps remaining. Let me see where Case is. Yeah, I'm going to say about 2 laps remaining, and here is Case coming up to Spoon here. So Case probably going to take the white flag next time around. But
it's
coming down
really
to
close.
Yeah, it's going to be close. So you have to keep an eye on the timer, and somewhere up in where the iRacing gods hang out, there's dice being rolled about whether or not the white goes out. It's not an exact science, folks, but we'll keep an eye on that starter tower when Case goes through there and see if we see the white flag waving. Sometimes the easiest way to tell, but it's going to be awfully close right here. If this is not the white flag lap, it is certainly going to be the penultimate lap, and Case has matters well in hand here, still with a 2-second interval back to Mikovits.
And I do not see the flag man out there, so we're going to do 2 more. So 2 more times around for Case and the rest of the group. The gap is pretty comfortable at 2 seconds. I think Case probably is just in gap management at this point, as Eggert has not really made a move, has actually lost a little bit of time to Mikovits. And I see Corwin and where did Vicroy has made his way around Corwin to pick up P6. So that battle's kind of over, as we'll see him taking the inside line down into turn 1, makes that pretty handy little move and gets around. and checks out, starts building that gap up to try to catch Jason Green for that top 5.
Yeah, and and a little move, brave little move there,
Oh,
and into Casio, and that angry bird getting angrier, and he is not going to be shopping for a Casio watch anytime soon. That's their second off there. And you mentioned Vickery, pretty good recovery from him. Remember, he was down 6 positions, I think, all the way down into P9 after his little incident at the top of the S's, and has fought his way back to P6. So he's regained 3 of those last 6 positions. Pretty good recovery by him. Once you lose that much time in this group, very hard to get it back. So Vickery actually putting in a pretty good drive, and you wonder what could have been if his little incident had not broken up those front 4 early on in this one.
yeah, I know that's what he's thinking. Is that, man, I had a chance to finally get to the top step, and just messed up a corner, and that's really all it came down to. Just messed up a corner, and it just cost him. It cost him everything tonight. So obviously he's going to lose unless something strange happens here on this last lap. He is going to lose points to Case that he more than he really needed to, and that's going to make life very difficult for the final few races.
My goodness, and this is one of those bizarre races. Case just took the white flag. Oh, and there's Degner, and there's JR right outside the fence waving a Porsche flag and drinking a non-alcoholic beer, cheering that little incident. But this is one of those bizarre things, Charles. Case took the white with only 5 seconds remaining in the session. And I'm here to tell you, if this was JR in a GT3 race, I'd be running out of gas right about now. Just one of those hella unlucky, barely kind of situations where one more lap is required. Fuel not an issue for these guys, but clearly I've got some PTSD from those situations. But that was an awful close one. And here goes the podium kind of leisurely making their way around the Kobayashi hairpin. And wait a minute, Eggert now all of a sudden has closed up. He's within sniffing distance of Mikovits here. He's got it down to 0.9. Probably not enough, but at least something is happening out there. And Mikovits actually the last time around turned in his fastest lap. So Mikovits still trying to pedal here, but that huge gap built up by Case a little bit too much for him. We'll ride along with Eggert here through 130R. We'll just ease over, maybe dip a wheel in the grass, keep it floored, commit completely, get ready to catch it. And here we go, hard braking under the Advan Bridge, heading into the Casio Triangle for the first time. And we'll wait for that podium to come down. The pit straight here for the last time. And Case wins this one by a mile. And my apologies to Case, the confusion about his name. I'll make sure that doesn't happen again. But it is going to be Case from Mikovits, from Eggert. And here they come. And followed by De Silva, Green, Vickery, and here comes Corwin as they it looks a little leisurely, frankly, right now, folks, because not a lot of fighting in this one. The field spread out pretty early, and really not the kind of thing you normally see at Suzuka. Ooh, and there's a tight interval between Conway and Lopez, but Conway can never manage to push his way through, but still is good for a top 10 as we watch the rest of the field come through, and we'll have those final results for you in a second. And yeah, Charles, not to whip poor Mr. Ed the Talking Horse here too badly, but I really was expecting a little more out of Suzuka. I mean, normally there's some pretty good racing out here, but it just didn't unfold that way tonight.
It didn't, and I think it might have been just a case, and we've seen this before, or at least I have anyway. I won't put words in your mouth, but sometimes you get these really technical tracks, and you'll have some drivers that make mistakes, as we saw with Vicroy, and it just spreads the field out a little quicker than you would normally see. And like I said, I didn't really see. I think I was watching Eggert, and he only gained a 10th on the backstretch on Mikovits. He gained the rest of his time coming through the triangle and then out down the start-finish straight. But the draft really didn't play that much of a factor in tonight's race, and it's just it's a little odd. Normally, what I expect the draft to give you 2 or 3 tenths down the back straight and the same on the front straight, but not so much tonight. It was just one of those things that the once you get a good lap in, if you have somebody behind or in front that makes a mistake, it just kind of naturally gaps the field as cars have to check up, and it just no real way to recover it tonight.
Yeah, and you're right about the draft. Normally, the draft on a track like this will kind of erase mistakes. You know, you lose a couple tenths in the infield, and then you get sucked right back up to the car in front of you due to the draft, and just didn't see it here. And there's your podium lining up. This has become a little unspoken tradition here, Sim Racers Group. A beautiful podium shot here at the start-finish line on the pit straight at Suzuka. So congratulations to the podium winners. We'll take a look outside and see who is waiting to come in and speak to us. But yeah, good stuff out here. And really what it seemed to come down to, Charles, is, as you said, avoiding mistakes, keeping it clean, and just kind of keeping your head down and eyes forward.
Yep, I think that was the key to it for tonight. Once again, it's still a good race, but a good, obviously, good result for Case as he extends his championship lead.
Yeah, and there are those results. So it is going to be Case with the win by 2.2 seconds. And just look at those gaps on the right side. It is really something that we're not accustomed to seeing in this group. But again, a technical track, and at least 10 of these competitors really only get their sim time at the SRG facility in San Jose, so they don't get to go down in their basement and practice all week to get ready for this. And that is kind of required in a technical track like Suzuka. But in any event, it is Case from Mikovits from Eggert. That is your podium. Tyrone De Silva will come in P4, Jason Green in P5, Vicroy with a pretty good recovery from that early mistake will finish in P6, then Josh Corwin in 7, Snyder in P8, Adrian Lopez in P9, and Lloyd Conway in P10. I was just looking over to see who my hard charger was, so I didn't pass him. That's going to be Jason Kocher in P11, then Ganesh Duval Oladipo, Christopher Wang in P15. And speaking of hard charger, that is him right there. Next, it is Jason Trantham in P16, gained 9 positions during that one. So pretty good work by Trantham. Then it's Dylan, Velasco Navas, and Posada rounding out your top 20. 21, it will be Grunsky, then Bali, Cardenas, and Neil Day. And we had Brashear, Lebivi, and did Poporci take the start, or was this a 14-lap race?
Yeah, he
did not. Okay, so we did have Lebivi claimed in that 69 car by a big crash that I think kind of got worse when he tried to get back to the pits, and one other car off the lead lap. But let's take a look out here really quickly and see who we've got out here with us. And let's go ahead, Charles, and I will grab Lloyd Conway for you, finished in P10 up 2, and you can ask him about his race tonight.
Hey, Lloyd, welcome into the booth. So up 2 positions from the start, P10. Looked like there was a lot of mistakes being made. Obviously, Suzuka, very difficult, very technical track. So how did your race go for you in your mind?
Yeah, it was definitely a challenge. Didn't really get much time to practice this week. Firstly, want to say apologies for Lebivi. Both of our tires got tangled up at one point. But other than that, it was a really fun battle with Adrian Lopez, especially towards the end. We were, quite intensely going wheel to wheel for that position, and he managed to fight me off. But, it was an okay result for me, but either way, I had a lot of fun with it, so happy days.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you can gain positions and survive a race like this, you got to kind of feel like you've done pretty well, even if it's not maybe your best result of the season. Still, it's a good day at the office if you finish better than you started.
Indeed, agreed. It was really slippy out there as well, especially towards the end. So I'm actually surprised there was much less carnage than what at least I saw in my car. So yeah, I think everyone did a great job.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, speaking of carnage, Laguna Seca next week. Obviously, free track on the iRacing service, so everybody has access to it. Unless you're in the Sim Racers headquarters, then maybe not as much practice time as you might want. So, what are your thoughts about Laguna Seca?
I think that's going to be really challenging, especially because SRG's location is right at the home, well, kind of close to the home of Laguna Seca. So I think not only that, but so many of the guys, including myself, have been to Laguna Seca in person before. So we've driven it in person and we know the nuances of the track. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, really challenging. I have run a few practice laps at Laguna Seca in this car, and I will tell you that by contrast to every other track that we've done so far in the season, the F-3 feels so much faster at Laguna compared to any other track. So I feel like there's probably going to be a few times where people are going to make bold moves because, of the familiarity, but then also because the car feels so damn fast at Laguna. But I think it's going to be a really entertaining race, and that's the one that I'm looking forward to the most.
Absolutely. Well, Lloyd, congratulations again on your top 10 finish, and we'll let you give any thanks or shout outs before we let you go until next week.
Give a shout out to Jason Kotcher as always for such a fun week. It's a highlight of my week, and I know it's a highlight of a lot of other guys.
All right, there you go, Lloyd. Congratulations again. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers. Thank you.
All right.
And that was Lloyd Conway, breaks into the top 10 by moving up 2 and surviving a very tough race out here at a very, very hot Suzuka. And next we'll bring in Chris Wang. And Chris, getting some work done. Not a epic qualifying from you. You qualified P20, but moved up 5 positions. And it really looked like some tires were fading toward the end of that one. So how was that car feeling to you down the stretch?
Hey guys, can you hear me all right?
Absolutely. You sound great, man.
All right. Yeah, I've run the track in a couple practice races, and definitely I think a combination of the track's super hot, the tires get worn, and towards the end I was trying to chase Ope and Alex a little bit and definitely overdriving the car a little bit, but trying to keep it under control, probably underdrove the car if anything during those last few laps. I was just so scared of one wheel over the grass and throttle down and I'm facing the wrong way.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's Suzuka a lot harder than it looks, especially when it comes to squeezing out that last half second or second. There's a lot of little nuances and a lot of timing and patience that go into driving it. So very well done. Workmanlike performance out here. And it looks like next week is going to be a big one for Sim Racers Group, where we're going to be visiting what many of you folks consider your home track. I don't know how you choose between that and Sears Point, but in any event, Laguna Seca next week. So what are your thoughts about that one?
I usually love Laguna Seca, but this will be my first time driving cars this fast at Laguna. And a lot of very fast cars around that track sometimes can get a little hairy. So try to keep it clean, keep it safe, and not get in anyone's way.
Well, we will keep our fingers crossed for you that the weather gods are a little kinder to you than they were here, because it can definitely get toasty at Laguna Seca in August. Hopefully we'll have some cloud cover to give you all a break from that. But again, Chris, fantastic work out there today, moving up 5 positions. And as we wrap it up, is there anyone you would like to thank or give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to shout out you guys as always, along with the SRG crew and Jason, Tyler, and Alex kind of running the show. I also wanted to shout out today everyone that drives from home, especially out of state. It feels like they really make a commitment to be out here all the time. And I really appreciate seeing their names, seeing their faces, and just always getting to race with them or follow them more likely.
All right. Well, Chris, thanks for stopping by and chatting with us. Always gracious, and it's great to hear your insights about the race, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
I guess.
All right. And Charles, I will go ahead and give you the honor of examining Jason Kotcher, and we can find out how his race went in Japan.
Yeah, Jason, welcome in. Up 3 positions, P11 tonight. So let's talk about your race. What were your thoughts about it? Obviously, We talked about the difficulty of running here at Suzuka and it being especially hot tonight.
Yeah, tough combination. Happy Wednesday, guys. How you doing? Thanks as always for doing the broadcast. Love it every time, and you guys are just getting better and sharper, and we really appreciate it. My goal is always top 10 minimal X. I got a little bit fortunate tonight with kind of bubbles as far as like space around me. For most of it, I had Lloyd and Adrian battling in front of me, and then towards the end, I had Adam and Athul battling behind me, and everybody just kind of left me alone. So I was pretty happy with that. 11 isn't 10th, but it's a decent result, and 0x, which is also bonus points in our league. So my first 0x of the season, which cracks me up in a shocked bad way, sort of for my standards of myself. And if I'd have looked at the calendar before the season had started, I would not have picked a hot Suzuka to have 0x, but getting a little better with the tire management. I ran them off on the Nords GP circuit, and as a little bit of a smack in the mouth there. So now I'm a little bit gun shy on leaning on them. Now I have to find my way back with a little bit of pace. But yeah, great race for me tonight, and looked like there was lots of battling going on. I'm just flipping through some replays and stuff here. Hopefully it was an entertaining broadcast.
It was indeed. It always is with these F3 races. So really good battles on track, and caught some mistakes that you probably wouldn't normally see from some of the drivers who probably will be shaking their heads at the end of this. But yeah, 0x in a race here is an accomplishment in and of itself. So yeah, bonus points, absolutely worth it for this. So next week we get to I guess your home track, Laguna Seca. Is that what you would consider your home track? Or
Yeah,
one will be closer.
They're both favorites. They're like kids. You can't have a favorite child. Laguna Seca is an hour south of San Jose here, so that's pretty much home track for most SRG participants. And we've added an experimental race for week 13 at the end of the season that we're going to do at Sonoma because we enjoy it there and we don't get to race it very often. So looking forward to that. But yeah, the F4 kids ran Laguna a few weeks ago, and it's a free circuit, so everybody's done 100 million laps there, obviously being world famous. So that will be a battle. I think everybody will be excited about that one, and the F3 cars will be fun to throw around there, I think. So definitely looking forward to that. And then Road America closes out the season, and what a season it's been for tracks and racing, and our first season as the F3 community, and these cars can only be considered an absolutely smashing success. So we'll see if we get that new F3 car in the off season, but lots and lots to look forward to for years to come. So super grateful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we'll be looking forward to these last couple of races as well. Obviously, iconic Laguna Seca. The first lap with the entire field going into the horseshoe is going to be something we're going to have to keep an eye on. And then Road America is one of my favorites, so I'm going to really enjoy covering that race as well. So, Jason, we'll let you give any thanks or shout outs or hot takes or anything else before we let you get ready for next week.
Yeah, guys. Thanks, SMB. As I said, you guys are awesome. We love watching the replays, and it just adds a whole new dimension to it. It's so fun to send the links to the family and let them cheer on, you or your friends or your cousins or your kids or what have you. It's just really special, and we're so grateful that this has worked out so well. Quick shout out, Josh Leslie, an F4 champion, won that last night. And it's like the giraffe being born. We're kicking him in the butt straight away. He will be in F3 for Laguna Seca next week. And I'm sure, though he is loved in the community, the F4 kids will be glad to see that guy graduated on his way. So we'll be looking forward to that. Congratulations, Josh. Well done. Well deserved. And yeah, shout out Alex Velasco and Tyler Hagan, my backstop, my IT guys, the admins of SRG. They do so much for me. I could do it without them, but it would be with a lot more pain and suffering and stress. So I'm always grateful that that they are around and so friendly and knowledgeable and supportive, and the community as a whole. Of course, I'd be sitting here by myself if they didn't pay to play, and look forward to it and love it, the way we do. That's nice to forget about life for a while. So thanks guys, as always, and we will see you next week.
Right, Jason. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Cheers.
All right, and that was Jason Kocher as we close down our broadcast from tonight. But before we go, let me go ahead and tell you what is coming up here. Actually, first, let me tell you about the XMS ICS IndyCar Series coming up here starting... Gosh, looks like 1 week from tonight. And look at that schedule. Road America, Mid-Ohio, Ohio, Long Beach, Red Bull Ring, Texas, and the Indy Road Course. That is going to be a fantastic season to test these Indy cars. And they are still looking for drivers. So registration still open. Go ahead and go on to xmsracing.com and check it out. If you would like to join us on those races, will, of course, be broadcast here on SMB. And coming up this weekend, Weekend Warriors Formula V will visit Okayama, and Ron's Race Nights will see iRacing official top split action with Legends cars at Lime Rock. What could possibly go wrong? And on Sunday, Weekend Warriors double feature. SRF Spec Racer Fords will throw down at Road America, and Formula Fords will battle at Sonoma. We've been talking about that a little bit already tonight. And next Tuesday, we'll be back here with SRG for Formula 4s at Interlagos and round 5 of the American Muscle Series. And 1 week from tonight, SRG Formula 3 at one of the temples of American motorsports and the Sim Racers Group home track, Laguna Seca Raceway. You are going to want to tune in for that. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification icon as well so that you don't miss any of the action here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. So I am JR Gregory. On behalf of myself, my partner Charles Bushell, our producer Mike Braun, and everyone here at SMB, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the day wherever you are, and hang in there, baby. Friday's coming.